Good evening. Hello. Good morning if you are in the States or anywhere else. I am going to be talking to you about embracing your inner greedy biatch. And I'm going to be teaching you ways to confidently own your money goals. But before we dive in, let me know where you are all listening in from. I'm just adding some doTERRA essential oil just to wake me up. Drop a heart emoji if you've had a funky day today. And while we wait for everyone, just a reminder that today is all about embracing your inner biatch. Greedy biatch. Sorry to swear, but I'm going to be talking a little bit about that and also how to confidently own your intentions for this year. So, let me know if you are with me, drop a heart emoji. I just want to make sure everyone's finding me okay. Let me know where you're watching today and let's get going. Take a nice deep breath in. I want to invite you to be present and just ask yourself, am I 100% here right now? Am I 100% here right now? It's a really good question to ask yourself. You know, if you've had a busy day or if you've been running around and you've got lots of different things going on, it's really nice to be like, okay, am I 100% here right now? Am I willing to be 100% here right now, right? Am I here emotionally, physically, energetically, spiritually, right? Am I here 100%? If you're a busy mum, shout out to all the busy mums right now. If you're a busy mum and you've got loads of obligations and lots of stuff going on, then really good to actually ask yourself, am I 100% here right now? So I'm just rubbing my hands together because I put some peppermint essential oil on. Peppermint and eucalyptus, and it's a blend of lots of different things. So we've got you here from London, from Australia, from Europe. So nice to see so many of you. So yeah, take some nice deep breaths in and just clear some space inside. I'm going to talk to you today about embracing your inner greedy bitch. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but I'm going to swear anyway. And I'm doing that for a reason. And I'll share with you exactly why it's called Embrace Your Inner Greedy Bitch. And 2 ways to confidently own your money goals this year. So I'm using the word bitch. I'm whispering it as a just a fun, jokey word. So if anyone's offended, apologies in advance. I'm not going to be swearing for the rest of the live, don't worry. But so I got an email this week from someone on my database, and it was a really interesting email, and it was in response to some emails that I'm sending out at the moment, and I have really decided to focus in on a clear direction in my business this year. And some of you are business owners, so you'll know what that decision is like. You know, it's not an easy one to make, because if you are someone who has loads of ideas all the time, let me know. If you are someone who has loads of ideas, just drop a heart emoji so I know where my entrepreneurs are at. If you are someone who has lots of ideas, you know, it's not easy to narrow down on one thing. And so many business strategists and mentors and coaches will say to you, you got to narrow down on one thing. But I really feel that that only comes with time and experience. And you also will have explored lots of different things along the way, right? Let me know if that resonates with you. Just give me a yes if that resonates. And so what I have done is really decided to take a clear direction on my business and talk a lot about money, because I feel that there's such a rich conversation at the moment. You know, we've been through a really tough 2 years. We now know that the government isn't able to save us. You know, we have to become financially independent, right? So it's all about then going, how does that happen? How do we become financially dependent? Well, the way we become financially independent is through actually improving our relationship with money. And I've been talking about money since 2015, right? So quite a long time in relation to the lifespan of a coach or a mentor these days, right? So I've now decided to focus solely on money, and I was emailing my database this week and someone emailed me right back and called me greedy and selfish, and is money the only thing you're talking about these days? I'm not interested in listening to what you have to say anymore. And it was along those lines. And it was a really great email to get back in response to my message and content, actually. And you might say, well, what right's that person to say that about your content? But I actually really loved it, because what it made me see was that people are really triggered by money and talking about money, and they are so worried about being judged for focusing on money and wanting more money, right? So although it was a slightly unsettling email for me to get, and it definitely triggered a raw nerve inside of me, like any feedback of that nature does, it was actually great to receive that email. So the other thing that really came into my awareness as I got that email was, okay, if I've attracted in that email from that person calling me greedy and selfish for talking about money, then because of the laws of manifestation, which part of me still believes that I am greedy and selfish for talking about money, right? Because everything is always a mirror. And that was one of the basic principles that I learned when I had my epiphany moment spiritually back in 2010, is everything is a mirror, okay? So then if you get negative feedback, rather than going into a place of being a victim, because that's not helping anyone, is it? Definitely not you. Why can't you go, okay, if I'm getting this message that's quite negative in, then is there any part of me that still doesn't feel 100% comfortable in doing this thing or talking about this thing or whatever? So I wanted to run a live all about embracing your inner greedy part, the aspect within us that is needy and selfish and wants money just to have money in the bank. Let me know if you can relate to that, because we can all relate to that, right? And unless you humbly connect to that part of you that still feels greedy or selfish for talking about money or asking for more money or putting your prices up or whatever it is, unless you really connect to that part and learn how to work with that part and embrace that part, you are forever going to be shying away from actually saying, I want more money, and I'm willing to embrace that desire to want more money. Let me know if that makes sense to you. Just drop a little heart emoji to say if that makes sense to you. So what we're talking about on the live today is embracing your inner greedy bitch, right? And I'm sorry to swear. It's not really a swear word, is it? Female dog. And 2 ways to confidently own your money goals. And I got inspired to run this session because of a negative feedback that I got from an email that I sent out about money, calling me greedy and selfish. And the thing is, if you're not where you want to be right now financially, then there's a reason for that. It's not that the universe hates you. It's not that you're wrong or bad or not worthy, even though you might be telling yourself that you're all of those things. It's not that. It's that there is something within you subconsciously that you haven't yet picked up on, okay? So when people reflect negative comments back to you about money, or it could be family. I remember, talking about my money goals to my family once, and it was too much for them to comprehend, right? Because my mum's probably going to watch this back, so I better watch what I say. But, when we have big financial goals, right, we can't necessarily talk so openly about them to our family. And I'm someone who's extraordinarily open. Like, I will tell everybody everything. Like, I tell my mum everything. Like, she knows everything about me, right? But when it comes to having big financial goals, like multiple 7 figures, 8 figures, it's quite triggering for our friends and family sometimes to hear, because they are in a different belief system structure or financial structure to us, right? Let me know if that makes sense. So it's not that they are bad for not being on our wavelength or anything like that, but we've just got to be a bit understanding. Anyway, this evening, I'm just chatting with you about embracing these aspects of you that are embarrassing to you, or you feel ashamed of, or you feel guilty about having, right? So, for example, if there's someone on Instagram who and they've just announced that they've done this 7-figure launch or this 6-figure launch or whatever people are talking about these days, right? You are, and there's a part of you that's triggered by that, because you're like, hang on a minute, how have they got that? I'm much better than them, or whatever your ego starts to say. In that moment, you're judging them because there's a part within you that feels tender or small or unworthy, or greedy or selfish or whatever it is. So what we need to do is learn how to dance with these aspects of ourselves, right? Let me know, give me a yes if this is making sense. If we can learn to dance with these aspects of ourselves that we feel embarrassed of or ashamed about, then what's amazing is that there's a certain result that happens that's usually the exact opposite that we think is going to happen. Like, for example, there's a part of us that believes that if we work on the shameful, embarrassing aspects, like, for example, the greedy part in you that wants more money, or the selfish part that is all about the money, or whatever those aspects are saying to you, right? When we actually get on the level of those aspects and we meet them eye to eye and we connect with them and we learn how to actually, embrace them and take pleasure from them, what then happens is that you start to see more results in a conscious way. That's when the money will start to shift and come in, because you're balancing your inner ecosystem. And it's funny because one of my business mentors started talking about balance last year, and I was like, balance is not really a sexy concept, to me. I was like, okay, we talk about balance, but let's be honest, who's really implementing balance in their life? I like to talk about it, but I'm not there yet with my business. There's still loads going on. I'm still in a flow at the moment. But there's something about the word balance. And for me, it's how can we balance out the polarities of us? So the part that is super conscious of the money goals that we have, like, I want to be a 6-figure money maker. I want to make, I want to be up to 8 figures in the next 3 years, right? How can we be really conscious and accepting of this goal, but also work on the opposite of the goal, the part that does not want that, right? So I talked a little bit about this specific concept on a live that I did on Monday. So just go and look back on IGTV and you'll hear all about the 3 sexy pillars of manifestation. And I talk a lot about embracing what you don't really want, or what you don't want, or the part of you that doesn't want the goal. So I've covered that already. But what I wanted to talk about today is these ways to confidently own your financial goals, okay? So we talked a little bit about owning up to the idea that you have these parts of you that do not want to be rich, wealthy, successful financially, and have a certain amount of money in the bank. No matter how much you consciously want it, there are, believe this or not, but if you are open to the possibility of what I'm saying, it makes your transition much easier. If you're totally blocking it now and you're like, actually, Jodie, I can't even comprehend this because of course I want more money, then it's going to take you a little bit longer to catch up. But if you're open to the possibility of what I'm saying, then you're going to reach your destination faster. It's going to accelerate your results, okay? So one of the things I was thinking about today, actually, when I was facilitating one of my group mentoring sessions in one of my programs called Magnificent You, some of you might be on that program, I was really tuning in to the group this morning, and I was like, okay, at the beginning of every single group call and most of my one-to-one clients call and any online digital programs that I run, I always, and some of you have been through my Magnificent Money program already, I always ask, are you willing to really show up for the session today? I always make sure that that question is seeded in at the beginning so that the engagement across the course remains high and that people are locked in, they're committed, right? So that's really important. But what I realized about my own self, I just literally had a hypnotherapy session about 3 hours ago. And what came up in my hypnotherapy session that I was receiving was it was like I had the energy of 2021 in my left hand, and then I had the energy of 2022 in my right hand. And I could sense there was still a part of me that was in the energy of 2021. Don't know, let me know if you can relate to this. Just drop a heart emoji if you can relate to what I'm saying. So if there's a part of you that's still in the energy, an old energy of a different year or a different aspect of you, you're not going to be able to commit fully to the energy of 2022, right? That might sound super obvious, but I didn't see it in myself. I did not see it in myself. I did not see that there was a part of me still holding on to the energy of 2021 because there was some unfinished business around that, and therefore not actually 100% stepping into, I don't like the word stepping in, embodying the energy of 2022, saying yes to the energy of 2022, right? So it's the same theory when we look at our financial goals, okay? You need to really get behind your financial goals, right? And I touched on this very briefly on Tuesday, but I ran a 4-day or 3-day wealth creator workshop last year. We had a few hundred people in there. It was amazing, like really, really amazing. It wasn't a free one. It was all paid for. And the first time, and some of you were in the Wealth Creator Workshop. Let me know if you were in the Wealth Creator Workshop. Give me a little money bag or a little heart just to let me know that you were in the Wealth Creator Workshop at the end of last year. So in the Wealth Creator Workshop on the first day, I talked about financial alignment. What does that mean? It means coming into your alignment, your center with your finances, okay? And actually coming into the person who you need to be in order to hold that amount of money, okay? So we talked about like setting these financial intentions and going, okay, like what is it that you want financially? What is it that you want financially? And the majority of people on that program had not even stopped to think about what they wanted. And there were lots of coaches on that call, some at a really good level. Still, they hadn't actually thought that it was a good thing to commit to a specific number, like a financial intention, right? So I think there's so many reasons why we don't actually commit to something. Right? Maybe it's because we don't want to get disappointed by it if we don't achieve it in some way, or maybe we feel that if we have a figure, we're going to be greedy for wanting it, or whatever it is. Yet, by shying away from actually going, you know what, my intention is to create this amount of financial energy this year, unless you don't allow yourself to get clear on that container, then you're not going to feel really inspired. And a really amazing thing happens when you have a big intention, right? Some of you will know this already if you are a coach, but I knew this, and last year I didn't even notice this was what was going on until a week ago in my journey last year. But when you set an intention, like my intention is to make blah, 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 blah this year financially, you are literally saying to yourself, okay, I'm intending to achieve that result. Now show me everything that's in the way of that. And then what happens when you have these big financial goals is all your stuff will come up to the surface to be looked at. And it's very easy then to get dragged into the wounds and the pain and the victim and the not good enough and all of the stuff that's coming up, and get sucked into it. And then before you realize it, 6 months have gone by and you are still not where you want to be. So you've got to know that when you have a big intention around a financial goal, it will naturally start to take you on a healing journey, right? Let me know if that resonates with you. Just give me a yes in the comments if that resonates with you. You know, it will take you on your own healing journey. So you got to be willing to stick to these intentions and stay behind them 100% and keep showing up, right? You've got to keep doing it, thick or thin, no matter what happens. You've got to keep showing up for these intentions. Otherwise, you're just going to drop away. You're going to forget about your intention, your goal. And you've got to keep recommitting to actually going, yeah, I'm here for this 100%. So going back to my hypnotherapy session that I had today, when I saw this part of me that was still stuck in 2021 energy, I was like, oh, part of the reason for that is that I haven't fully had the intention to show up 100% for this new vision that I've got. I mean, most of me is there, but some of me is not there, right? So I guess my invitation for you all on this call is, one of the things you take away from this live be, my intention is to show up 100% for this new year or this new energy or this new money goal or this new vision or this new program or whatever it is that you want to put out into the world, right? Let that be your intention. Does that make sense? So, because when you show up 100%, the energy is so different. It's so different. You feel like you're really behind it. You're in it. You're embodying it. You're here for the journey. You know, when I had that email back from that guy who said I was selfish and greedy and like all those things, and something about being in hell, there was something weird anyway, you know, it touched a nerve for a few seconds, but then I actually was like, no, it still feels really, really good to be in this alignment with this message. Actually, it still feels really good. Even if I was on a football pitch and there were hundreds of people opposite me, all trolling me and criticizing me and judging me and calling me greedy and selfish and all the names that you could ever imagine, I would still walk away from that interaction feeling strong, aligned, and grounded, right? I would still feel like it was the right direction. And that's when you know that you're in alignment. Doesn't matter what anyone says to you, you know it deep inside yourself. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, and just to finish off, you know, we all have this needy part in us. I might have said this at the beginning of the call, so if I have, then forgive me for repeating, but we all have a needy part within us that needs love, attention, money, kindness, nourishment, food, water. Like, we have that inbuilt within us. Of course, when it's out of balance, it can feel a bit creepy and icky, you know, especially when it's coming from somebody else and we start judging them for it. However, what we need to learn to do is just embrace all of these aspects within us, right? Embrace them and get behind confidently and show up for our intentions this year. So I just wanted to share that really and come on and say, you know what, if you are also judging yourself for being greedy or selfish, then you're not alone. You know, that's half of the population. So many people are triggered by me talking about money constantly. So many people are, you know, unsubscribing at the moment because it's triggering, and I don't mind because my numbers are building all the time. So I'm fine with that. But it's just a really interesting observation when you start to talk about a controversial topic. When you start to talk about something controversial, then people, it's too much for people to actually connect with. And that's a good thing. It's a really good thing, because you want people connecting with you who are in this 100% and who are committed to the work. I'll just finish off by saying, for those of you that are very spiritually aware, awake, conscious right now, we've all chosen to be here on this planet at this time for a reason, to go through this big awakening, this big ascension, and play a part in that. So just be aware of that. It's really important to be aware that you've chosen to be alive at this time, and you can handle it. You can absolutely handle it. All right, thank you so much, everyone. There's a money quiz on my stories right now. I'd really appreciate it if you go and look at it and actually participate, because it's giving me and my team lots of insights for what to create for you guys next. So please go ahead to the stories, check out my quiz. It will take you a minute or a minute and a half to go through. And on Monday, I'm actually releasing a brand new six-part checklist to manifesting six figures, which is really useful. And you'll be wanting to use that no matter what financial level you are at or ascending to. So watch out for that Monday, Tuesday next week. Sending you lots of love, and yeah, that's it. And thank you so much for all the comments on all the reels. I've been getting so many DMs from you about reels and enjoying it and having fun with them, and me just feeling inspired to do reels. So I'm really, really grateful for that feedback. Thank you so much. And I will speak to you very soon. I'm always in the DMs if you would like to chat as well. I'm always here for you, okay? Lots of love. Take care. Bye.